Story 1. It was a dark and stormy night. I was studying for my history final the next day. There was a really bad tropical storm going on, so I wanted to make sure I finished studying in case we lost power. I was home alone with my 5-year-old brother, Dan. Dan was in bed at this point, and his bedroom is down the hall from mine. I was very focused on studying because I really needed to ace this final. My desk was littered with books, notes, and a large cup of coffee. As I was reviewing my notes on the Vietnam War, I heard a splashing noise outside. It sounded as if someone had slipped and fell on the puddle of mud that my front lawn had surely turned into during the course of this storm. I stood up and peered out my bedroom window. I didn't see anything, just my front yard getting blasted by rain. Man, I don't think I ever saw it rain that hard in my entire life. I continued studying for another hour or so. As soon as I was about to finish up, a loud rumble of thunder erupted and a bolt of lightning lit up outside. We suddenly lost power. Annoyed but not alarmed, as this was expected, I stood up and turned on the flashlight on my cell phone. I walked down the hall to Dan's room. His bedroom door was locked. Annoyed now, because Dan knows he isn't allowed to lock his door, I knocked loudly. "Dan, open up! We lost power!" Suddenly, I heard Dan scream in pure agony. I tried kicking the door open, but it wouldn't budge. Dan's screams grew louder now, and I heard the window in his bedroom shatter. I sprinted out the front door and ran towards Dan's window. It was pitch black outside at this point, as the streetlights were also out. As I sprinted towards Dan's window, a lightning bolt briefly lit up the area. My blood ran cold. There was a tall figure standing outside of Dan's window. He had to be 8 feet tall and was wearing what appeared to be a pinstriped suit. Pumped on pure adrenaline and feeling like I was in the jungles of Vietnam, I sprinted towards the figure. I know it sounds crazy, but I love my brother, and I wasn't going to let anything hurt him. "Get out of here!" I screamed at the figure as he was attempting to pull Dan out of the window. The figure quickly let go of Dan and sprinted into the night. I called the police after that. They didn't find whatever that thing was that tried to abduct my brother. However, they found footprints, 4 feet long and 3 feet wide, scattered around my front yard. The police insisted there was some sort of bear there and refused to believe me when I told them about the figure. Needless to say, Dan and I now share a bedroom, and my parents no longer leave us home alone at night. Never lock your bedroom door. You never know when you might need saving. Story 2. It was a stormy summer night. Tropical storm Iris was pounding outside. I was living with my parents at the time. My mom is a doctor, and my father is a fireman, so they were both at work, and I was home alone. I was hanging out and watching a movie on Netflix. I decided to order Uber Eats. I know, it's a major jerk move to order in the middle of a bad storm, but I couldn't cook, and I was starving. I saw that the Domino's in my area was still taking deliveries. I placed an order for 2 bacon pizzas, which everyone knows is a classic Domino's choice, and a large Coke. About an hour passed, and I still didn't receive any notifications on my phone about my order. I figured it was just delayed due to the storm. Suddenly, I heard a banging at my door. I peered out my living room window to see who it was. To my relief, it looked like the Domino's guy, or in this case, girl. She was wearing a blue shirt and an old baseball cap. She continued banging on the door. I ran to the door and opened it. "Can I come in?" the delivery girl begged, with a smile. Now I know this was stupid, but I let her in. The storm was getting really bad, and she looked like a young girl. There was nothing to be afraid of. The girl walked into the house and thanked me profusely for letting her in. She walked into my kitchen and sat down. She was a bit older than I thought she was. She was well into her 40s and had a very nervous voice. She spoke as if her lips couldn't keep up with her words. "So how you doing? How long have you lived in the area? Nice house," the woman said, speaking all too quickly. Yeah, I've lived here with my parents my whole life," I replied cautiously. A loud rumble of thunder shook the entire house. "Some storm we're having. the woman mumbled as she continued looking around the house. Yeah, pretty bad. I should probably eat my pizza now. Thanks for dropping it off, I said, motioning her towards the door. No problem. Can I just use the bathroom first, sir? She asked nervously. At this point, I was getting suspicious, but I was young and dumb. I motioned the woman towards the bathroom down the hall. She slowly walked to the bathroom and closed the door behind her. As soon as I heard her lock it, I received a text message. It was from Uber Eats. My delivery driver said that he will arrive with my order in 20 minutes. Slowly realizing the gravity of the situation, I grabbed a baseball bat and walked towards the bathroom. Suddenly, I heard the bathroom window break. I kicked the bathroom door as hard as I could, and the small lock flew off. The woman had gone through our medicine cabinet and took all of our prescription drugs. She hopped out the window, ran to her car, and sped off. I called my mom, and she came home early from work. We phoned the police, and they informed us that a drug user had broken into a few homes in the area. My so-called delivery girl fit her description. I haven't stayed home alone during a bad storm since. Stay safe this summer. Don't talk to strangers, and certainly don't let them into your home. Story 3. I'm your typical beach bro. I have blonde hair, a nice tan, and I'm a lifeguard. On top of all of that, I'm an avid surfer. My best friend Paul and I worked together as lifeguards, and we always surfed together too. It was a few days before Hurricane Gordon. It was our job to ensure that the beach remained evacuated and all swimmers went home. Seeing that everyone was gone and the waves were incredible, Paul and I put on our wetsuits and went surfing. For the first few minutes, the waves were perfect. I caught 5 or 6 great runs, and Paul caught a few great waves as well. The waves slowly started to get a bit too large for us. At first, we were just laughing, as we were being knocked around a bit. Suddenly, it started raining, and the water got extremely rough. Paul, being the daredevil that he was, tried to catch one of these large waves and got smashed underneath the water. He emerged a few seconds later with a bloody nose, but he was still generally okay. We were both starting to get very tired keeping afloat in these rough waters. We were also starting to get a bit scared. We slowly started paddling back. After a few seconds of paddling as hard as I could, I realized that Paul was not next to me. Panicking, I quickly turned around. Paul was flailing around 150 feet away. His surfboard had been torn from his wrist and he was struggling to stay afloat. I started paddling back towards Paul, but the current was just too strong. I knew that if I went back to him, neither of us would make it back to shore. I used all my strength and paddled back to shore. As soon as I made it back, I went into my car to grab my cell phone and phoned the police. The aquatic unit did not find Paul. All they found was his surfboard. It was broken in half. They said the storm must have simply dragged him out to sea. I never surfed after that night. I even gave up lifeguarding. Always respect Mother Nature. Stay out of the water this hurricane season.